All right, so the problem we're looking at today says Callan has 83 children's books in his classroom. He has 2 more than 3 times as many books as Deon does in her classroom. How many books does Deon have in her classroom? So the first thing we need to do is figure out what the problem is asking us. So looking at the last sentence, how many books does Deon have in her classroom? So we are looking for the amount of books Deon has. So Deon books. Okay, now we need to go back and we need to figure out what information does the question or the problem give us. So if we look back at the question, it says Callan has 83 children's books in his classroom. So we know he has 83. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add that to the information we have down here. 83 books. All right, and then we got to keep going. What else? What other information did they give us? So he has 2 more than 3 times as many books as Deon. So let's go ahead. We need to figure out, we don't have a number for Deon. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use a variable. And we'll go ahead and just use the variable x. So now when we're talking about the books in relation to each other, it tells us right here, Callan has 2 more than 3 times as many as Deon. So we're going to add 2. And when it tells us 3 times as many, we know we're going to have to multiply by 3. Okay, so now we need to go ahead and set them equal. So we know that Callan has 83, and we know that this equation, 2 plus 3x, is going to be what gives us 83, or what tells us how many books Callan has. So now we need to go back and we need to solve for x, because that's what we want to know. We want to know how many books Deon has, and we set Deon, we gave Deon's books the variable of x. So we want to make sure that we solve for that. So now we want to get rid of any whole numbers that are not connected to the variable we have. So the variable is x, and we have a whole number of 2. To get rid of that whole number, we're going to do the opposite operation. So if we're adding it, we're going to subtract it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to subtract it. So let's subtract 2 from both sides. So right here it'll be minus 2. Make sure you do it. Whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other. So 2 minus 2 is going to be 0. And then we're going to have the 3x still. And then we're going to have 83 minus 2. 83 minus 2 is going to be 81. It's going to be 81. So now we have 3x equals 81. We still have not gotten to just the x. So we're going to have to find what number times 3 is 81. The easiest way to figure this out is, again, do the opposite operation, or divide each side by 3. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add right here. We're going to say divided by 3. And then we're going to make a copy of it and do it to the answer too. So we have 3 divided by 3, which we know is 1. We have 81 divided by 3. So like we said, 3 divided by 3 is 1. So that gives us just our x. And then we need to figure out what 81 divided by 3 is. I know that 3 goes into 8. We'll go ahead and do long division over here. So you have 81 divided by 3. I know that 3 goes into 8 2 times. 3 times 2 is 6. When you subtract, you bring down the 2, bring down the 1. I know that 3 times 7 is 21. So our answer is going to be 27. So it will be x. Down here it's going to be x equals 27. So I'm going to come back to my x. X equals 27. So we have figured out that Deon should have 27 children's books. we always want to go back and make sure that we check our answer. So let's go ahead and plug in 27 for x. So for our equation right here we have 2 times 3x equals 83. If we're taking away, if we're adding the 27, so it'll be 2 plus 3 times 27, and then hopefully it'll equal 83. So now we keep going. We have 3 times 27, so let's go ahead and do that multiplication really quick. 27 times 3. 7 times 3 is 1. With carry the 2. And then 3 times 2 is 6, 7, 8. So we're going to come back over here. Come back over here, and you're going to have 2 plus 81 equals 83. Adding 2 and 81, you have 83. So we have 83 equals 83. So we have solved. We have Deon has 27 children's books. And that's the end of it.